Ebusianfo masanso atena se aha eye Ghanatube so ensem de edoso nya ekoso ewo oman Ghana mu ene ye kase ye beka ye mfiri hanim se adofo ensem a ekoso ebi ne yenkotie.
The Bank of Ghana has announced that it has commenced a comprehensive review of its monetary policy framework. The move is part of measures to contain the inflation outlook threat. It is also intended to enhance policy transition and allow greater room for credit expansion to the private sector. Meanwhile, Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has assured that the outlook for the Ghana cedi remains largely favorable. This, he says, is based on measures that the central bank is currently implementing. The Ghana Governor gave this assurance at the opening of the monetary policy meeting at the Bank of Ghana today.
Some members of the Monetary Policy Committee at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, noted that the current situation shows that the central bank may have to do more to ensure that the current gains are not eroded.
In March, the committee responded decisively to the inflation outlook by raising the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%. Preliminary evidence right now suggests this action has contributed to dampening inflation momentum. And importantly, the cedi has appreciated sharply by nearly 19% between April and May, helping to ease imported inflation pressures and restoring public confidence. The appreciation of the cedi reflects a combination of factors, including prudent monetary policy, the improved market sentiment, as well as the external sector gains that we are witnessing.
The governor also highlighted some of the major contributing factors to the city's performance over the past months.
We are also seeing encouraging signs of macroeconomic progress. For example, Ghana has reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF regarding the fourth review of the ECF program. And although some prior actions remain outstanding, the trajectory is clearly positive. Now, you also would have heard about the recent S&P upgrade of Ghana's sovereign rating from a selective default to CCC positive, which further affirms this progress. Our external reserves have strengthened, and the trade balance has improved, as well as the consumer and business confidence indices rising steadily.
Despite this favorable development, the governor of the Bank of Ghana was worried about the outlook for inflation.
The inflation outlook, while improving, remains vulnerable to second-round effects. The food supply constraints are still with us, especially from northern Ghana and the Sahel, and external price shocks, particularly given volatile global commodity markets. There are also geopolitical tensions and evolving global trade dynamics, including the recent US-led tariff disputes. These have heightened market uncertainty and could affect commodity prices, could affect exchange rates, and could affect financial flows in emerging markets like ours. In this context, colleagues, the bank has commenced a comprehensive review of its monetary policy implementation framework. We are transitioning from reliance on the unremunerated cash reserve ratio to a more active open market operations regime, including the use of longer tenor BOG instruments, as we announced at the previous MPC, the maiden MPC that I had.
The governor, therefore, Dr. Johnson Isiama, therefore advised members of the Monetary Policy Committee to look at all the challenges and ensure that they approach the meeting with some rigor, independence, and professionalism.
All right, so let's have a broader conversation on the back of this revelation by the governor, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Joining us via phone is economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie. Thanks so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us here on Business Live. And first off, we want to assess how much of an importance is the governor's assurance about the city's sustainability and outlook to investors, urging them not to panic, basically.
Yeah, for now, I don't think anybody should panic because all developments from the external sector and the domestic sector look very stable. Externally, we have seen an inflow or increase in cocoa price, inflow of tariffs. Gold price have also increased. I don't know whether we should thank God for that. The dollar has weakened against major trading currencies. Domestically, too, I think the exchange program, both the domestic exchange, the external debt exchange, have all saved the country made some savings from them. IMF program is on course. We've received the tranches from IMF and the World Bank donations. Bank of Ghana has been able to build enough reserves. The gold for reserves program has increased gold reserves from 8 tons to 31 tons. I think for now, things are a bit okay. Even the speculative demand for dollar has died out. I think people are now even doing speculative sales. People are panicking by selling their dollars rather than buying. I think the more sustainable way is to build our export base, as we always say, to industrialize and to increase exportation, reduce importation. That's why many people are surprised about this development because they realize that the structure of the economy hasn't changed that much, and yet we are making these gains. So going forward, we have to build an industrial base to sustain this. But for now, I think the market is calm and nobody should panic. The business confidence is high, consumer sentiments are also high, and then hopefully prices will be reduced and the disinflation process will speed up for the MPC rates to come down very soon. For even businessmen and men, then everybody can borrow at a lower interest rate. That's what we are all looking for, to expand our businesses and create jobs.
That's right. But despite the significant progress made with the CD, the governor believes that challenges still remain, citing inflation outlook as a major concern, referencing that to the current geopolitical tensions and the evolving global trade dynamics, including the recent U.S.-led tariff disputes. I guess it's not right from right.
Yeah, well, the imported inflation wouldn't be a major concern now because we've seen the exchange rate reduce, and therefore we've also heard Gov't calling on its members to reduce prices of their items. I think what we are more concerned about now with the fight of inflation is the cost of producing even local products. Even the locally produced items, the cost of producing them is very high. For example, the cost of feeding poultry is high. The cost of baking bread from the wheat that we import, is high. So even with the local production, the cost of producing them is high. I think that is a major concern here. We are just lucky that transport fares have been reduced, and because any trigger of the exchange rate, we will know it will increase the transport fares. Any trigger in the crude oil price will translate into a transport fare. So to the extent that these developments are stable, I think we are far better. But I share the concerns of the governor because the local production is even done at a higher cost. And I think that the BOG is also aware of their high policy rate, which is around 28%, translating into a high lending rate of around 28 to 30%. Because if a business person goes to borrow at 28 to 30%, you don't expect the person to reduce their price. All these things will feed into the cost of production and it will feed into inflation. So things are not 100% done at this time. So there are still issues that we need to tackle. And I always make the point that the fight against inflation should not be left in the hands of the BOG alone. It should be everybody, all hands on deck. I think Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture, they will all have to come in to help in the fight against inflation.
Now, what do you make of the comprehensive review of the monetary policy implementation framework the governor talked about to mitigate the impact of the challenges outlined?
Pardon? What review?
I'm talking about the review the Bank of Ghana intends to, do with respect to the sustainability of the forex appreciation and other factors they are considering.
Okay. So, yeah, I've already made a point that the developments are in our favor, both domestic and external, and so they are just happy that all Ghanaians are just happy to see our city appreciate, because we all know the devastating effects of city depreciation on prices of goods and services. We've experienced high cost of living in the past, and this year going forward, Ghanaians want the cost of living to lower. So yes, it is good that they review comprehensively these developments. But as I've always said, that the BOG is only using the tools available to them, which are monetary tools. The economy is far bigger than the monetary sector. The external sector or the real sector is also has to play a role, even the fiscal development. So it is good that they have reviewed all this external sector, real sector, monetary sector, but I'll come back to the point that their fight against inflation or whatever they are reviewing, they are limited by the monetary tools available to them. The Ministry of Finance has to use the fiscal tools. The Ministry of Agriculture has to use all the agricultural tools. Ministry of Trade has to use trade tools in the development on the entire economy. So it's good that they review everything, and they have also indicated that yes, maybe the disinflation process will speed up for them to reduce the policy rate and reduce the lending rate. But it's good that they do all these reviews to see where the shocks are coming, where the negatives and where they are positive, where they have to review and where they have to speed up, when they have to slow down, etc., etc. So all these are good, and we will continue to monitor. Those of us who are also in the research field, we will continue to monitor the development and read their reports to see how we can inform our listeners going forward.
Am I to guess that you are suggesting that at the end of the meeting, I mean the MPC meeting, the policy rate will be reduced? Looking at the various macroeconomic fundamentals.
Well, I think it's too early. I would have said yes, but I think it's too early for them to consider any reduction. I think they should maintain it for now. My reason is that when the disinflation process, inflation has been declining, but at a slower pace. That is why they are reluctant to reduce the policy rate. So the developments that we have seen so far is that the disinflation process has slowed. If the disinflation process speeds up because of the cedi appreciation in the coming months, then I'm sure in their next meeting they will consider reducing it. But I do not anticipate any increment in the policy rate. At best, I think they will keep it.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Idu Owusu-Sarkodie, an economist, sharing your perspective with us here on Business Life. And we want to say what?
Ebushiafo we de wankasa ode waso ate edweni ehu nia ekoso ewo yema Ghana mu ene mesho se ko comment section na fa comment no ebrem na mejebre akenkan ede amofefefe aha eye Ghanatube so insema ekoso ena onsa ebeka on subscribe ya subscribe na hit notification bell no for more news updates. See ade. Come.